If you got the brand new iC2-Micro drive, then this video is for you. My name is Joel, and today I'm going to go over how to start up your new micro drive, how to input motor data, how to input a start command, and how to put in a speed reference to get this thing up and going as quick as possible. All right, before we get started, it's important to note the drive needs to have all of the settings back to factory in order for the steps that I'm about to show you to work. You can see already that I have a minimum reference in here that's actually going to prevent the drive from going any lower than 12 Hertz. So let's just do a quick factory reset. Factory reset, let's scroll to the parameter. We're going to go down to parameter group 6, subgroup 6, and we're going to go to 6, 6, 8. Default is 0, which is normal operation. We're going to change that to number 2. Hit OK. Now at this point, nothing has changed. If you go back to the main menu, you can see we still have a minimum reference of 12. All that has done is actually set this so as soon as we power cycle, it'll actually reset the drive. Kill power, let the drive go blank. We'll probably get a DC low, and then it'll go out. Give it a few seconds, and then we're actually just going to power it back up. Once the drive comes back on, you can see we got an alarm 80. That indicates that we've had a full factory reset. To reset this, go ahead and hit the stop button, and now we are back to a clean slate for us to start programming the drive. Now before we start programming the actual drive, there's two things we're going to need first. Go to your motor and actually take a look at the motor data plate. You can snap a picture of this, save it for later, as long as we have that information so we can program it into the motor. The second thing is we're going to need to make a small jumper wire, just a piece of control wire that's looped from our 24-volt supply back to what will be our start command. This is just going to bypass any of your external controls and allow you to land your actual control wires, like I have here, later. Saves you a little bit of time troubleshooting any of that in case this is actually open when we thought it was closed, and prevents us from actually testing. Now that the drive has been fully factory reset, we're actually going to start by going over the quick menu to input all of the motor data. The basic motor data that we'll need for this one will be your voltage, your frequency, your FLA or full load amps, as well as your RPM, also known as your nominal speed. Today we'll go over just regular induction motors, but there's also permanent magnet motors. Before we get too deep into programming the drive, we also need to have our motor data. And every manufacturer is different, but you can tell, like on the two motors that I have here, all data is always printed on a label on the drive. It's pretty universal that every single one will have it there. This is the information that we'll actually need in order to program this motor to run correctly. The drive is a computer, and without knowing what size motor is connected to it, you'll probably get some faults because the drive is unsure of what's actually connected to it. Now that we have our motor data, let's go ahead and power up our drive. And as you can see right now, we're going to go over the menu really quick and just show you what we have. Right now is our reference settings in Hertz. The other thing that we will have on the display is actually our frequency. After that, if we go down one more, that's going to be our motor current, and then it'll be our motor torque, followed by our DC bus, going right back to our power, and going back to our reference. Now, this reference is actually the reference percentage. You can have other things like custom readouts and also feedback in here as well. All right, so to get started, we're going to hit the home button, and this is actually the quick menu. There's a great guide that we have available on the iC2 page for getting this going, and it outlines all of this here. I'll show you a quick view of it right here. To start programming your drive, go ahead and click the home button. We're actually going to go into the quick menu and go into quick menu number 1. The first question that it asks you is which type of motor that you have. 0 is going to be an induction motor. Most motors are induction motors. Now that we have our induction motor programmed, we can actually go down to our next parameter, which is actually going to be our motor power. 0.37 kilowatts. We're actually going to set this to 0.21. The rule of thumb with Danfoss Drives is you can usually go a little bit smaller. They say about 4 sizes smaller and about 1 size bigger. This is simply because we don't have enough current to pass through the drive, and you don't want to overpower the drive and have it hurt your motor or your capacitors. Next thing you're going to do is go down to your motor voltage. We're going to hit OK on this one. This one says 208, but I know on my motor, my minimum voltage needs to be 220. Go ahead and hit OK to program it. Once it stops flashing, that means that it's set. And then we can go ahead and hit the back button to go in. In order to get across when you're programming, one other thing to note is you only have a left button. So program each digit individually, go all the way left. Otherwise, if you hit it, it'll just keep circling you back around. Hit OK to lock it back in, and you'll be set. Next, we'll go back, and then we'll go down. Next is going to be our motor current. For this one, it's not actually that high. Our FLA should never add our service factor in. That's actually something that we can add or control through settings in the drive through things like the current limit. So in this one, I actually want this to be a 1. And we're going to go down just a little bit. All right, and for this demo, we're actually going to create 2 sets of jumpers because we need one to act as our reference speed. I'll also show you how to go ahead and use the potentiometer on the drive, but for right now, we'll just use this. Now that our motor data is set, there's just a couple other things that we need in order to get this going. We need a start command first and foremost. If you're running this in hand mode operates like a start command. On this drive, we have 24 volts present on terminal 12, and the terminal 13 is actually programmed as your start command. This jumper wire right here, you can tell is actually just a hard piece of wire. And if that's the case, you usually can just slide those in and that'll have a great connection. Now, if you have something like a screwdriver to press into that friction lock to release, you need to get a better spot. This jumper wire is actually just taking place of where your controls will be. Later, you can always land your controls back on top of this same spot. Now that we have our jumper wire made, let's go ahead and place that in our terminal 13 to start. Since our positive signal is actually coming from terminal 12, we'll actually just go ahead and slide that into there. Again, if we need to remove that, you can always pull that by pressing the friction lock and removing the wire. All right, there is number 1. And in this series of drive, we're actually gonna have to turn on the potentiometer in order to use that to set the speed on the unit. So we're actually gonna go down to the parameter group. I'm gonna go to parameter group 5, -5, -3, 20. Oh, there we go. And it comes default off. So now we're going to go down and actually turn that on. So now we actually have this on, but the next thing that we're actually going to have to do is we can actually set this as our reference as well. You can already see that our reference is increasing and decreasing when I turn this up and down, which was good. Now we actually want to use the drive to point to this when we want to increase and decrease the speed. Next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go into your 5 group one more time. And we're going to go 5-5 again. But we're actually going to go to 5, 3, 7. And this is actually where we set our reference point. For the drive to have the potentiometer, we're actually going to hit OK, and we're actually going to go down to number 21. We got to hit OK, make sure it's flashing. There we go. 21. That is actually the potentiometer right there. So now if I go ahead and take this out of local, I'm going to put this in drive. I'm going to give it a reference. And as you can see, the motor actually starts to spin up. It has a reference, and if we go all the way up, there we go. Now it has a max reference of 50, and that's kind of out of the box because our drives are set to international, but this one we can actually change to be 60 if you'd like, and I can show you how to do that as well. And if you do want to check your minimum and maximum reference, which your analog input affects the reference as well as your potentiometer and also your field bus as well. So it's good to know. And you can see here that we already have this set at 60, and we can see our minimum is set at 0. So that's probably actually our motor maximum, which I can show you how to get to that right now. That's going to be in the 5 group as well. We're going to go to the 5-8. And then we're going to go down to 5-8-2 for our maximum. And you can see that's 65 as well. So something else is keeping us from going beyond that with the potentiometer. So we'll find that out here in just a second. All right, and then not only are we needing to enable the potentiometer, but there's also a relevant scaling reference resource. So that's what this is for. If we actually go ahead and hit OK, all we have to do is change it also to 21. What does that mean? That's the same number that we're using to point towards the potentiometer. And as soon as I hit OK, you'll see this speed up a little bit, and you can hear it a little bit. Ready? Here we go. There we go. So that actually sets the scaling of this to be 0 to 100 instead of about 0 to 85.3. And if we go back to here, you can see now that we're also at 60, and you can scale that back by just dialing back the potentiometer as well. So that's one way to do it, and that's just how to use the LCP. We're not in hand, we're actually just in remote right now. We have this as our start command, and then we're just using this as our reference source as well. And the other thing we're going to do is actually just going to set this so it'll run at full speed. We can actually use terminal 33 to send 10 volts over to our terminal 32. All right, so that is taking 10 volts from our analog output and sending that back to that input. Why would we want to do that? That's going to tell our drive that we want it to run at full speed. So if I turn this on right now, it's still in waiting because we're actually in local right now, but it's not actually running. Why is that? That's because we haven't said, go ahead and look at this input for a full speed command.
Most of the time in the field, I don't think that we're going to use this potentiometer, although that is used and it is there. What we do probably want to use is the analog input here that we can wire up from, let's say, a PLC going back to the drive. We have our 10 volt out right here that we're simply jumping back to the unit, and you can see it does give it a reference, which is good, but it's not full speed. It's actually kind of splitting the difference between both. But we also just want to point to this as our potentiometer. So you can see that the drive is running in auto right now, and if I increase or decrease the speed, it's still looking at that. But we want the drive to only look at this analog input here. So we're going to go to our parameter group, 5, 5, and then we're going to go to 5, 5, 3, 7. All right, and right now you can see it's set to 21. 21 is actually the local potentiometer right here, and we want to set it to number 1, which is terminal 33. So we can hit OK, and then it goes back to 0, and then we'll go 1. Okay, so now you can see the motor actually stopped because it's looking for our signal back to here. Our frequency is at 0. So look what happens when we place this into the terminal block here. So you can see now it's actually giving it a full speed, and the full speed is actually set to 65. That is okay. But you can see if I pull this out, that will actually drop in speed. This is a good way to test your digital or analog input just to make sure that it's nothing on your system that's preventing it from running.
And the last thing that I wanted to go over with everybody is actually on how to use the product store. Right here, I have my iC2, and on the very top, there is a label. We can see that label right there. So on here, that actually has a number that I'm going to type in at the top of the store. It is the frequency converter ordering number. And in this case, it is 132 Lima 6135. And you can see it pops up right there. And this is actually the product store page for this drive. Like I was saying earlier, you can actually get all of your information for this drive in one spot. not only do you show your power and some of the options that are included in here, but you also have documentation such as manuals, and then you also have certifications for this as well. Some visuals if you have drawings that you need because you're installing the product that you want to integrate this into, as well as accessories, different kits like this one, P21, and then spare parts also as well. Spare parts on this one is a little limited, so it is short, but this is everything all in one place. And we got some quick tabs up here so that you can view it really quickly as well. Last thing is if you wanted to take some of this, you could export it, spare parts, accessory service, any of that as a PDF or an Excel file. You could also compare to some other drives, but if you do have an account with Danfoss as well, you can buy this drive here. And if you, for some reason, wanted to change something, maybe you needed a slightly larger size, you could do that as well, and then hit review configuration. And more than likely, there's also a ordering number that will be listed below, and you can do all of the same from here as well. Pretty handy tool to have from anything from ordering new drives to just getting parts.
Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, leave a comment below. If you want more helpful tips and tricks, especially for the new iC2, reach out to our new My Drive Assistant available 24/7. We even have live agents available for you to talk to ask all of your troubleshooting questions or just programming as well. Thanks for watching.